Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Alicia and I'm a 25-year-old med spa owner here in the DFW, and today I wanted to talk about booking sites. So I've been in business since 2019 and I've went through many different booking sites over the years. I've used Square, Mevo, Aesthetic Records, Vagaro, and currently using Boulevard. I really mostly want to focus on talking about the differences and comparing Boulevard and Vagaro, but I do want to briefly touch on some of the others that I've used in the past. When I first started, I was with Square and I used them back in 2019, and so truthfully I can't give like a super honest, valid opinion. I'm sure they've improved a lot of things since then. Next, I did briefly join with Mevo. I never fully made the switch because during the transition period when I was leaving Square, trying to find something that would work better once I made that transition into being a med spa who offered lasers, microneedling, and things that needed to be charted, as well as having more employees. Mevo just felt very clunky, outdated, and I could pretty much instantly tell it wasn't a fit once I actually joined with them and started inputting everything, playing around with the software. It just wasn't a good fit. So then I got with Aesthetic Records, and that was per advice from my very first medical director that I had, because that was what was going to be easiest for him to chart or to review our charts. We did the full switch to Aesthetic Records. I will say on our end, super easy to chart, easy to make appointments, but from the client side, it was a nightmare. I had so many clients complain to my face how much they hated it, and these are regulars. These are people who are new. It was all different types of clients who would mention to me how difficult it was. You have to make an account just to view pricing. And from a client's perspective, I think that that is just horrible. I don't think anybody wants to do that just to view pricing. After that, it was really, really hard for them to be able to reschedule or cancel their own appointments with Aesthetic Records. And when I had mentioned that to the customer service and the person who was kind of like my rep helping me, their response was, good, we want it to be hard for clients to cancel their appointments, basically, because in their logic they think that that means that they're just going to come in. But I'm like, no, it just causes more stress that they have to call us or message us through DMs or, you know, no show, and then they tell us they had an issue. And personally, I just believe in making it as easy as possible for clients to manage their own appointments. When you have that type of system in place, it actually minimizes no-shows. So to each their own, but that's just my thought process, and what I've seen in my own business works better. Again, to follow up on that, I do believe that Aesthetic Records had pretty poor customer service. There was only a chat box that you could talk to after you joined. There was absolutely no customer service line that you could call, and this was very frustrating when I would have an issue that I felt couldn't be resolved through like the text chat because they couldn't fully understand what I was saying. It would take really long for them to reply. It was such a headache anytime I had an issue that wasn't minor. Maybe that was a little bit bigger. Another example of this is whenever I was trying to do the POS switch, absolutely no one would get on the phone with me. I messaged my rep many times like, hey, I have like some questions that, you know, the chat can't answer. Can we please set up like a phone call, you know, to hop on and like chat? Absolutely like would not. Like it was always the runaround of like, okay, we'll just message them, or just giving me some type of excuse, or even flat out not replying sometimes. And so after a bit of that, I just decided like, you know what, this is honestly such a horrible platform that I do not want to run my credit cards through them at all. It just was such a headache. I was only with Aesthetic Records, I believe, for 2, maybe 3 months, maybe about 2.5. And that's when I switched to Vagaro. Instantly when I switched to Vagaro, it did help my business a lot. Clients were so much more happier. And I was with them, I think, for about 2 years. So the reason for my switch was I just felt it was time. I feel like my business is growing, clients, services, staff, everything. Overall, we're just having a lot of growth at this time. So I felt like I just kind of outgrew Vagaro. I was on the hunt for a new software and I had been eyeing Boulevard for quite a minute. There was some other competitors that I did demo with, but I made the decision to switch to Boulevard. This is where I really wanted to touch on comparing Vagaro and Boulevard. Overall, I do think Vagaro and Boulevard have a lot of similarities, and they're both very easy to use to chart, do consent forms. They'll both send the consent forms to your clients, or you can have them fill it out in person. I will say they both have pretty good reporting systems if you're really into tracking your numbers. Now I will start to get in some of the differences. First, I do want to go over some of the things that I like about Vagaro that Boulevard does not have. So one thing was they did have a marketplace. You could download the Vagaro app and they had a full marketplace for clients to be able to just type in hairstylist near me or nail tech near me, facials near me, or whatever the case was, and it would pull up a list of businesses. So I thought that was pretty cool. On top of that, they did have something called the daily deals, which was basically where a business like myself could send out something called a daily deal. Doesn't mean that it has to be for only a day. You could set it for whatever you wanted, for a month, a week, day, 2 weeks, whatever the case was. You could say maybe you're going to do 50% off this certain service or this certain facial, and you could send that as a text blast to your entire campaign. But it would also put you on the daily deals page for other clients who maybe have never been with you, but they have the Vagaro app, and they would be able to see your daily deal, and so that would bring in customers as well. Now, something I absolutely do not like about Vagaro is from the client side, it just looks a bit disorganized. I didn't like when you first opened it, you would see all these categories and the first category would automatically open to a drop down and just show like first service. So for example, I prefer Boulevard, where when you click on the booking link, it shows you all of our categories. And then you can decide, okay, I want to look at facials, I want to see body contouring, I want to see waxing, I want to see laser. But I do feel like that made a lot of clients not really be sure what else we offer. Maybe they just missed that. They're most likely maybe not going to fully scroll all the way down. So I just felt like it's better to have like all your categories and let the client select which one they want to drop down and get more info on, so that way they get a good overview of what you do as a whole. And another thing was the package page. When you get on the packages page, there was no way to organize your packages into different categories. So again, for us, we had so many different packages. We had skin packages, RF microneedling packages, laser hair removal packages, and there was you could organize them, which number one, it was a nightmare to organize them. You couldn't just click and drag. You'd have to like arrow each one up, which is a whole separate thing. But as for categories, there was no such thing as categories for your packages. So they're all just listed and you just have to pick, okay, what is gonna go at the top, whatever is at the bottom is gonna be like the most neglected, because they're just scrolling. And that makes it really hard for clients to find exactly what they're looking for. Versus on Boulevard, you can organize your packages into categories. And again, it just gives them a brief overview of all the different packages. So even if they're going to look for laser hair removal prices and packages, they'll also get a glance like, oh, hey, they also have RF microneedling. Another thing is that both Boulevard and Vagaro, of course, have text reminders as well as email reminders. But the main difference that I really like about Boulevard is that Boulevard allows the client to reschedule from the text. You can click the link, reschedule, or cancel. Versus Vagaro, it was only through email. That your client actually does not even have to make a full-on account with a password. They do have to use their phone number and email and still fill out forms. But the way that Boulevard works is that whenever they go to log in, all they have to do is enter in their phone number and email, and then they'll receive either a text or an email with a little code to just log them right in. Another difference that I will say I think Vagaro takes the cake on is the overnight deposits. So with Vagaro, you get your money the next day. So let's say you make X amount of sales on Monday, that money will be in your account on Tuesday when you wake up. Versus Boulevard, you make whatever sales on Monday, it will not show up in your account until Wednesday. So it's 2 days. That might not be a deal breaker for some people, but I did want to mention that. And for both Boulevard and Vagaro, when it comes to the weekend, everything will process on Monday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday will not show up until Monday. Now, a few things that I love about Boulevard that Vagaro does not have. It does have a built-in text automated flow with a special algorithm that basically whenever you have any slow days or gaps, it's going to automatically text certain specific clients who would fit into those gaps, maybe haven't been in a certain amount of time, or they do not have an upcoming appointment, to help you fill those gaps. And I do notice that that has helped us quite a bit, filling last minute cancellations, empty gaps, or slow days. And it does that all through some type of algorithm that does it automatically for you. So you're not having to go in and build that flow yourself. Another thing that I really love is that Boulevard has very precise booking. So it helps to minimize your gaps. Whenever clients go on, it'll even say like optimal time to book, to help encourage clients to fill whatever slot is the best for you as the provider. And what I mean by precise booking is it will give you times like 2:35 or 3:50 or 1:10 to fill in and minimize your gaps as much as possible. Some other features that I really like about Boulevard that I think Vagaro lacks in, you can be a lot more detailed with your clients. For example, on Boulevard, you can do things like suggested products. So you'll have here their history of all the products they have bought. Maybe you recommended them something and they said, maybe not this time, maybe next time. You can put it in their suggested products. So that way, if they pop in and maybe you're in a service and your receptionist is like, I'm not sure what they recommended, they can pull that right up and see all the suggested products. On top of that, you can do special accommodations for your clients. Let's say you have maybe an elderly client, takes a little extra time to get dressed and undressed, which is totally fine. You can cushion and add a specific extra amount of minutes for only that client. Or vice versa. Let's say you have a client who has been waxing with you for years, you get her in and out in 5 minutes, maybe she has minimal growth. You can also go in there and change her specific time. That way, you're able to book more accurately. Maybe you give some of your long-term clients a special discount or special pricing since they've been with you so long. Maybe when you do a price increase, you're keeping it only for new clients and not your previous clients. You're able to do that as well. Set certain pricing for certain clients. Also, one of my other favorite features that Boulevard has that Vagaro does not is a built-in referral system. Let's say one of your clients wants to refer one of their friends. They can actually send their friend a special link to book that is connected to their phone number and email. So when their friend books, automatically preloads $10 onto each account. Obviously, you can set that up however you want, whether you want it to be a percentage, a certain dollar amount. Let's say they forget to do something like that, and then they mention it when they come in or mention it at checkout. There is also a little portion on the client profile to put who referred them, and again, it will automatically load that discount for both parties. One thing I do want to mention too is that Boulevard does have a certain integration with Shopify, which is who we use our website through, so clients can place online orders for products. The reason this was important to us is because previously when we had Vagaro, which did not have any type of integration with Shopify, let's say we had one sunscreen left and I just made that sell in person. I'm not even kidding, we had this situation where literally 2 minutes later somebody placed an online order for that sunscreen. With Boulevard, there is an integration where you can have the inventory automatically sync, so whether you sell an item in person or online, it automatically updates the other app. Lastly, we'll get into price difference. So there is a pretty steep price difference between Vagaro and Boulevard. So the way Vagaro's pricing looks is I believe they start at somewhere like maybe 20 bucks a month, 24, 19, somewhere in that range. And everything is a la carte. So you're automatically gonna have to pay $10 extra for storage if you wanna do photos and charts. You're gonna have to pay another extra $10 if you wanna have actual consent forms and soap notes. And each time you add a person to your team, it's gonna be an extra $10. So eventually over time that does add up, and I do feel like it was already adding up so much for us as we are growing a team, and I did use a lot of the add-on features that I think I was paying close to around $200, $225, somewhere in that range. This is Boulevard, which is a steeper price point, but everything is all included. So you don't have to pay for any extra add-ons. I think I got it on a special deal for about $65 a month, which when you think about all the extra features that I am getting, which are very important to me, paying an additional $100 really in my brain I think is definitely worth it. And no, anytime I hire somebody else, I do not have to increase the price like I was with Vagaro. So eventually I was gonna get to this price point anyways as I grow my team. So overall, I do think both softwares are really great. If you're looking for more of a lower price point, you're a smaller team, you're still growing but on a smaller scale, I do think Vagaro is something to consider. If you're a little bit more deeper into your growth, really looking to expand, and needing a lot of these extra features, I do 100% think Boulevard is worth it. I've really loved it. I've noticed such an improvement in our booking percentages as well as how happy our clients have been to use this system. Ultimately, the choice is yours. I just wanted to give my honest opinion, but let me know in the comments what booking site you guys use and if you're considering switching. Thank you guys so much for watching.